Okay, let's do a little bit more coverage of yesterday's second day of the January 6th committee hearings. Another major and obvious scam that we all knew about, except, of course, for the millions of Trumpists who donated to it, is that this so-called Trump official election defense fund, which was going to fund recounts and lawsuits and audits and all these different things, it was a scam. It was a grift. It was, if you looked at the fine print, obviously another attempt for Trump to enrich himself by raising money and then enrich his friends and family by hiring friends and family and paying them out of those donated funds. Well, it's another thing we suspected, which the January 6th committee has now apparently confirmed to be true. We have a video from yesterday's hearing where Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren explains that the Trump official election defense fund didn't actually exist. It was yet another Trump grift. And again, a grift which victimizes his supporters. Progressives were not donating to Trump's election defense fund. It is a grift of his own supporters.
I'm senior investigative counsel with the House Select Committee to investigate the January 6th attack on the United States Capitol. Between Election Day and January 6th, the Trump campaign sent millions of fundraising emails to Trump supporters,
yes,
sometimes as many as 25 a day. The emails claimed the, quote, left-wing mob was undermining the election, implored supporters to, quote, step up to protect the integrity of the election, and encouraged them to, quote, fight back. But as the Select Committee has demonstrated, the Trump campaign knew these claims of voter fraud were false, yet they continued to barrage small dollar donors with emails, encouraging them to donate to something called the Official Election Defense Fund. The Select Committee discovered no such fund existed.
I don't believe there is actually a fund called the Election Defense Fund.
Is it fair to say that the Election Defense Fund was another, I think we called it a marketing tactic?
Yes.
And tell us about these funds as marketing tactics.
Just the topic matter, where money could potentially go to be, how money could potentially be used.
The claims that the election was stolen were so successful, President Trump and his allies raised $250 million.
$250 million. Remember, when I brought the story of the grift to you, only about 70 million had been raised. And then, okay, we figured out it's another grift. I wasn't going to keep updating you about the amount of money. By the time it was all said and done, $250 million had been raised. And it's a grift all the way down. As an example of how the grift was even further used for enriching Trump's friends and family, Kimberly Guilfoyle, the then girlfriend, maybe now fiance or wife, I don't know, of Don Jr., she spoke for 2.5 minutes at the rally on January 6th. She was reportedly paid 60 grand for that speech. And that is the money that came from the so-called election defense fund, which it's sort of like if I were to say, hey, please donate to the Democracy Defense Fund at the David Pakman Show. If you're just making a donation to the David Pakman Show, just because I call it something doesn't mean it exists, and it doesn't mean it's being used for that. Like, it just gets mixed in with the money that comes in for memberships and whatever else. Just because you put on an email, official election defense fund, doesn't mean it's a real thing. And this was so obvious that it was going on that the sad part is it's news to people. And many of the small donors who got grifted and scammed are never going to know it. Now, is it a crime? That's a great question. Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren was asked, is that a crime? And she said it's for someone else to decide.
We're a legislative committee, and it's clear that he intentionally misled his donors, asked them to donate to a fund that didn't exist, and used the money raised for something other than what he said.
Yep.
Now, it's for someone else to decide whether that's criminal or not. That's not the purview of a legislative committee.
Yes, and Merrick Garland, Attorney General, said they are certainly watching the hearings at the Justice Department, but who knows what the outcome will be. Another scam, another grift, not a surprise to viewers and listeners of this show. If you're using traditional toilet paper and paper towels, you're probably cutting down trees from North American old growth forests. And I've talked about before, we don't want to be doing that. Also, they come wrapped in single-use plastic. That's also a mess. And the solution is Real Paper. This is a sponsor I feel great about. Real Paper makes paper towels and toilet paper from fast-growing bamboo, not from virgin tree fibers from forests. Using bamboo prevents soil erosion. it prevents habitat loss, and importantly, it's a major impact on carbon. Real paper also uses no plastic packaging. So we often talk about what can we do? Corporations need to do many things, but what can we do to help the environment? This is an easy thing. And I made the switch to real paper at home. I can't tell the difference. Everybody buys toilet paper. Everybody buys paper towels. This is one you can actually feel good about. And you can use the code PACMAN for 30% off your first shipment when you sign up for a subscription at realpaper.com/PACMAN. The link is down below.